Olive's Pirate Party. When Olive Elizabeth Julia Jerome turned 7, she wanted a party with pirates. Mom and Dad, instead of candles, can I have cannons on my birthday cake? At school, she stood on the climbing tower and passed out invitations. Ahoy, mateys, it's Captain Olive. I'm having a pirate party with sword fights, a gangplank, buried treasure, a lagoon filled with alligators. Cool, said Olive's friend Lizard. Can I bring my snorkeling mask? Meanwhile, Olive's parents were frantic. Only 5 days until Olive's birthday. Where can we bury the treasure? The house painters will be here. The yard is dug up. Why not have Olive's party at my house? Trilled Olive's Aunt Tiffany. Leave everything to me. Aunt Tiffany was Olive's elderly aunt. She sewed satin gowns for Olive's dolls, baked petit fours for her stuffed animals' birthdays, and took Olive to the opera when she turned 6, and translated everything. If I know Aunt Tiffany, your party will be something special, chimed Olive's mom. But the thought gave Olive goosebumps. Aunt Tiffany's house was like a museum. What if the pirates break something? To Aunt Tiffany, special means teacups and lace and scary food on fancy plates, not sword fights. Olive slumped. Sounds like my plans have walked the plank. I can't wait for your party, Lizard chirped the next day at school. I'll wear my octopus bathing suit. Dad says I can borrow his metal detector to find the buried treasure. Olive gulped. There's been a change in plans. The party's at your Aunt Tiffany's? Hissed Hillary, goalie for the soccer team. That means no Buccaneer burgers and no gangplank jump. Sounds like your birthday could be a disaster. Olive's friend Errol shook his head. Want to spend the day in my underground fort? We could eat mud pies instead of cake. I wish I never said anything about a dumb old pirate party, Olive groaned. Sweetheart, Aunt Tiffany loves you, piped her mom. I'm sure everyone will have lots of fun. I wish I had an Aunt Tiffany who loved me enough to give me a party, echoed Olive's dad. That night, Olive couldn't sleep. She hugged Gumbo, her polar bear, closed her eyes, and kept thinking about Aunt Tiffany. I love Aunt Tiffany, and she loves me, announced Olive. So if I'm going to have a party with pirates, I'll just bring them to Aunt Tiffany's house and we'll redecorate. The next day, when Miss Fishbone's class made papier-mâché masks, Olive made Blackbeard the pirate. In science, when they painted an ocean mural, Olive was in charge of the details. Miss Fishbone, can I please borrow this mural on Saturday if I do extra credit spelling homework? At lunch, Olive stood on the cafeteria bench and made an important announcement. All hands on deck, prepare to cast off on Saturday. Dress like pirates and dig for treasure. And don't forget your toy sharks. The pirate party's back on, Lizard sparkled. Are you sure it's going to be fun? Hillary snorted. Anything else, Miss Jerome? The Weeple principal walked on his heels. Olive blushed. Mr. Weeple, do you know where I can find a giant white teacup? The night before Olive's party, Aunt Tiffany vacuumed and rearranged. She packed her crystal goblets and china plates. The next morning, Olive woke up at sunrise. She watched the second hand sweep the clock. Cock-a-doodle-doo, Mom and Dad. I just turned 7. Time to put candles in the donuts. Last one to the table gets a runny fried egg. After breakfast, Olive worked in her treehouse. Then she sailed to Aunt Tiffany's doorstep. I hope we don't have to eat broccoli, Hillary grumbled. Is it okay to swing from the yardum? Lizard squeaked. Attention all pirates! No pushing, no poking, no pirate curses! And after cake, we'll sneak out back and hunt for real treasure. What real treasure? A gravelly voice thundered. Aunt Tiffany's door creaked open. Aunt Tiffany stood, transformed, hands on hips, flashing a blackened tooth. Is that you, Aunt Tiffany? Olive sputtered. Captain Tiffany to all you guppies and swabs. Get ready to walk the plank and watch out for barracudas in the bathtub. Aunt Tiffany, Olive bubbled, you look just like Bluebeard the pirate. Now all you need is a ship. I do? Aunt Tiffany stared. Full speed ahead, Olive spouted. Together they turned the living room into a pirate galleon. In Aunt Tiffany's tub, they trolled for gold coins. In her closets, they combed for treasure. Then everyone sat down to Jolly Roger cake that Aunt Tiffany had baked. Look, Olive's cake even has cannons. Aunt Tiffany, this is the best party ever. Olive thought for a minute. But where did you put all your teacups? Aunt Tiffany smiled shyly and winked. Pirates don't use teacups, dear. After Olive opened her presents, Aunt Tiffany opened one from Olive. Olive Elizabeth Julia Jerome. I painted it myself, said Olive. You're no ordinary pirate. Aunt Tiffany squeezed Olive's hand. You're no ordinary Aunt Tiffany. Olive squeezed Aunt Tiffany back. Aunt Tiffany, instead of 9 pirates, can I invite 29 next year? The end.